It's time for an Equity Guru Investor Roundtable. I'm Rob Simpson down in the corner here in the basement with my pal Chris Perry, who's up to no good down there. Upstairs, it's way over there is Vishal Vatura, the chart attack master, who we'll be getting to shortly. Joseph Morton is right above me, and he is going to kick us off today because we've got DMG Blockchain. This stuff confuses me. I'm sure it confuses a lot of people, so this will be hopefully very informative. It's a Grand Forks, British Columbia company with the CEO Sheldon Bennett, and it's available on the Toronto Venture Exchange as DMGI. What the hell are we talking about, Joseph?
What we're talking about is a company which splits up their core products into more or less two different ways. What they do is one half is Bitcoin mining, of course, which is all of those rooms upon rooms upon rooms of gigantic computers crunching numbers and spitting out fictional coins, which are apparently worth $64,000 today, literally. And secondarily, they have a line of products which they use to scan the blockchain, which means that they can bounce from number to number with the intent of attaching wallet names and companies and individuals to them so they can know what transactions are happening along various blockchains. Actually, in this case, I think it was just Bitcoin. But that is the two core products that they have.
I believe you did say something about fictional coins, correct? Fiction.
Just quick question there for Joseph. You talked about how they've been, they can scan the blockchain and stuff. With all the talk about regulations and stuff, how do you think DMG Blockchain, how are they positioned for that?
They are getting out ahead of the regulations. Actually, there are presently any regulations, which there's nothing even on the docket for scanning the blockchain so we can watch these things as they happen. And there are a couple companies that are actually doing this. I mean, this one, the DMG Blockchain, of course, but I mean, like Big Digital Assets has something like that too. And they're all getting government contracts. They're getting government contracts in the United States and Canada to basically ferret out organized crime.
Okay.
Wow.
So I'm just saying maybe some people might say when regulations come, I guess something like this is definitely worth looking into then.
I was just reading about a scam, a crypto scam today or yesterday.
Only one?
Well, yeah, a new big one. I mean, whatever.
Only one?
The latest. Chris Perry, come on. What do you think?
DMG and I have a bit of a history. A couple of years back, I had an event at the Cambridge House Investor Conference where I got 6 companies up on the stage and basically chewed them out in public and to see who would stand up. And my first question to DMG Blockchain was, you've been in this business for a while. How come you still have blockchain in your name? Haven't you guys figured it out yet? Blockchain was AIDS for a long time. And sort of an AIDS cancer hybrid, if that's possible yet. Maybe that's due next year. But credit where it's due, for 2018, they stayed alive. 2019, they stayed alive. 2020, stayed alive. And then in 2021, they went from a low of 8 cents to a high of like $5.36. That's nutty. And I guess an indicator that if you stick with a shell long enough, everyone turns into $1 billion company for a minute. It's sort of an old Andy Warhol paraphrase. Now, unfortunately, on their way up to $5, they raised $70 million at a $3 price tag, which means that now being at $1, a lot of big money is underwater on that thing. So I would expect, if there hasn't already been a bit of a sell-off on that, there may always be the threat of one as it gets closer to that price. As for DMG itself, look, it was an interesting company way back when. It was a client of ours when it first started. It kicked off, but blockchain was not long for this world. Same as VR, same as cannabis, same as psychedelics. Like, they go through their run and then they fall off. The test is, can you build a business out of the remains after the market guys have come and gone? And I think maybe DMG, there's been 2 times where the market guys have come in, raised a shit ton of cash, and then gone on and found something else to do. The company survives though, right? Like they mine Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up and down. It has at the moment, and then it doesn't. They've got technology in there that is their IP. When I went down to their offices a couple of years back, they genuinely had the smartest guys I'd ever met working for this company. The question is, are those guys still able, in a jumbled landscape where Bitcoin is hot one day and not the next, can they create a business that's sustainable regardless of whether Bitcoin's at 20K or 60K or 100K or 3K? I suspect that the reason they haven't gone back down to 8 cents is because the answer to that is yes. I just wonder whether they'll have a little bit of heavy lifting to do to get out from under that big financing that they did earlier in the year.
What does it all mean in chart land, Michelle?
Well, yeah, Chris raised a point, as you guys can see from the chart. I mean, this year, the stock started off with a bang, pop all the way up to highs of $5.35. I believe it's still up 70% year to date, with a 1-year gain of 1,033.33%. I think the story, it is about, if you're bullish on cryptos in general, if you see cryptos as, again, just a fad, or if you think it's, a digital asset. I know Joseph sees it as a digital asset. I see it as a digital asset, not technically a currency, but maybe just a way to position yourself out of fiat, I guess. Galaxy, Marathon, even Coinbase, I believe, are ripping. So I'm, as a trader and as an investor, I'm just interested in some of these smaller crypto and blockchain companies which might join in the rally. And because they haven't, I'm just a bit cautious right now. But technically, we are at the $1 zone, which of course is a very important zone for a lot of these smaller cap stocks. I've drawn out a triangle pattern here. So we have an uptrend here connecting the lows, and we're actually testing that right now. So 2 key points, $1 and a retest of this trend line here. I think that's going to be big going forward. But really, we have to get above $1.50 here to see some sort of momentum taking us up to new highs. But I mean, as Chris mentioned, that raising at $3, I think there's going to be probably some constant selling pressure, though, even if this thing does take off. And I should point out, though, that today we did see a pretty substantial volume of over 3 million shares traded, when the average volume is at 1.6 million shares traded. I did take a look at the historical data, and the last time we had 3 million shares was, I believe, in mid-August. So I find that interesting. There's a lot of volume here. Maybe it's because it's at the $1 zone, or maybe it's because Ethereum just made new record highs today, and possibly, no, not Bitcoin, not yet, but Ethereum has made new record highs yet. So, I'm approaching this as something that is going to be moving if you believe cryptos are going to be here to stay. And I do look at it as a digital asset. And it's looking interesting. That's what I'll say.
What do you call that? Is it when you have all the names for all the designs and all the tendencies on the chart? Would that be the CN Tower then? That one there in the middle?
So right here, some people actually call this the supernova. Like it just takes off and then it just spills. And great thing you bring that up, Rob, because you've seen this type of move actually in Bitcoin in the past. Yep. We've seen it in 3D printing. We've seen it in cannabis. So it's one of those sort of chart patterns that you see when people are FOMOing into something or chasing something, and then you always get this sell off after. And then from there, we've seen Bitcoin, and we've even seen 3D printing. They do recover, but sometimes it takes a few years, sometimes it takes a few months. So that's where we just watch these technical levels and wait for a breakout to see if we can retest these previous highs.
All right, so moving forward, we're into November. I've now got $7,500 in my purse for everybody. So that means each person has the option of taking $7,500 out of my wallet. Of course, lower end, if you do nothing, it stays the same, but it gives you a little more versatility if you want to splurge on something. not suggesting that's the case here. I'm just letting you know. So we'll go around the horn with Joseph first. I got $7,500 here, pal. What are you doing?
Okay, well, first off, my decision making is based on a bit more knowledge that I have about this company. And what they've done is they've separated their attack on regulations in two different directions. They've joined the Crypto Climate Accord, which means that they're the first two signatories of the Crypto Climate Accord, which is an initiative to eliminate, to reduce the carbon footprint for anyone participating in this to zero by 2030. Now that's going to get ahead of regulation because eventually government's going to come down on the entire Bitcoin network that's gobbling up more energy than the entire country of Sweden this year. And in addition to all of their various other projects used for KYC or know your customer and anti-money laundering, in addition to what they're doing with the Bitcoin mining, I actually am I'm actually about as close to bullish as I get on a company with these guys. And I would say that I would probably throw in about $5,000.
Ooh,
All in.
My former max.
Yeah.
Chris Perry, you going to go with my former max, no max at all, or my new max?
Well, so I'm just going to say that one interesting thing about these guys to me is we talked about the 70 million raise they did at $5. They also did a 20 million raise at about $1.20 a few months after that. So there's a lot of paper here. I suspect there's going to be a bit of a ceiling on this stock for a bit. The other side of that is they managed to get their hands on $90 million to invest in other companies, technologies, and themselves. So, that might make them a little bit Bitcoin resistant if cryptos do go on a bit of a slump. What they're trying to do is to get a piece of everyone else's deal by getting technologies that will be used in policing, et cetera, et cetera. I don't hate that at all. And I think if you look at the stock over the last, say, 6 months, despite that selling pressure, it has managed to keep itself pretty flat at about $1.10. Right now, it's a good trade if you're into that sort of thing. If you like buying in early in the morning and selling out at the end of the day, there's enough volatility there and enough average volume to be able to make a living doing that. I like the option of taking this as not just an upside resistance right now, but I think also a downside resistance. You're not seeing a big slump over the last 6 months. It's holding in, which means there's enough demand for it that I could commit, say, $3 or $4 grand of your money and feel confident that it's at least protected on the downside by investor interest and still has some upside if it can break through those earlier investment rounds.
Michelle, final word.
Yeah, I'm going 3K on this one. I like the $1 support level here. And, it's just been ranging, right? So as Chris said, it's been ranging here. I think it's due for a break. Hopefully it's not to the downside. But I do think, with what cryptos are doing, Ethereum just made new record highs today. I think Bitcoin will get a bit of a run. And I think all that money will be looking at some of these smaller blockchain / crypto plays. And again, they're already chasing things like Galaxy and Coinbase and Marathon. And I think we all will be watching for that money to drip down a bit lower to some of these smaller stocks here. So I like it based on the overall sector, the overall crypto sector, I guess. And I think we still have a leg in that.
All right. I got to run over and grab 11 grand out of the bank because I got to invest now. Nicely done, fellas. I was clueless coming in. I'm clueless coming out, but at least I know that you guys are digging this as a basic investment. So I might join you.
I just appreciate a turnaround story. And there was a point where these guys were really trashed to the markets.
Yep.
And they've scraped through and built something up again that deserves respect, if not a place on your watch list.
Sheldon Bennett's the CEO out of Grand Forks, British Columbia, DMGI on the TSX. That would be the TSX Venture Exchange. No guarantees here, peeps. Do your own homework, do your own research. We can't tell you this and expect it to necessarily happen for sure. So no past performance guaranteeing future results. Thank you very much. It is DMGI. It is DMG Blockchain, the company. And we'll see you next time on the Equity Guru Investor Roundtable.